Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about, well, if you advocate for the cancel culture of the past, don't be surprised when that cancel culture gets ya. Anyway, here we go, bound into comics. Sergey, SerB, Burkatovskiy out as Wargaming creative director after voicing support for the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This guy, his tendency to support the Soviet army and things like that, to glorify Stalinian and other nonsense, is pretty much what I say, you reap what you have sown. Because remember, Russia today is still far freer than the Russia of the past. And what he advocated for was pretty much the Soviet Russia of the past, and that the Soviet Russia was far, far worse. You think there's political assassinations today and things like that, censorship, people getting jailed for protesting against the war and all of those things in Russia. Well, it was far worse back then. Back when it was Soviet Union. Back when the Soviet Union was allied with the Nazi Germany. It's something you and even mention with people like him nearby. Hey, they invaded the same place together, they went to war together up until around 1941. Hey, when it happened, when Nazi Germany finally went on and backstabbed their allies, and they finally did that, not even the Nazi generals, not even the Nazi soldiers could actually believe it. Not even the Russians, they actually even thought at the beginning of when they began fighting against each other that it was all fake news. But anyway, let's go. Sergey, SerB, I don't care, is no longer creative director, best known for the free-to-play World of Tanks, Warplanes and Warships titles. The only one that is of these three games that is so much okay-ish is Warships. World of Tanks and Warplanes are goddamn garbage. World of Tanks actually is kind of a bit better than World of Warplanes. World of Warplanes, I think. Let me put it this way. They actually brag on about finding some really weird Russian tank out of a paper or something like that and was never developed. They go on and create it in the game. They make it nearly invincible with things like that. Even the tanks that actually existed back then, that it was actually created and mass-produced, they make it absolutely nearly god tier in comparison to other tanks. Why, you ask? Because they are idiots. They actually think the Soviets were that good. Let me put it this way. Back then, the T-34, despite having some sort of Nazi technology with the American suspension system on it, it was still a garbage tank. Yeah, yes. Because despite having so many technological advances in there, based on the Nazi development of tanks in Russia, yeah, because the Nazi Germany wasn't allowed to have those researchers in their territory, so they used Russia. Anyway, what was I? Oh, right. The tanks were a bit crap. For instance, they never finished or gave a proper finish on the tanks that went on to war. Okay, fine, I understand that. But let's say there were many issues with the tanks. For instance, bad ammo placement with a nice little shell. That thing would blow! And there's another problem. If the driver died, their body had nowhere else to fall, so it would fall on top of the controls. While everyone inside the tank was fighting for their lives, trying to survive, the body of the driver would fall on the controls and push forward the tank. And that seemed to the Nazis at the time that these Russian soldiers were brave as fuck. Now, as it turns out, the body died and the tank just kept on going because of the bad controls. And not only that, there were also lots of rivets inside too, and many other problems on multiple tanks everywhere, including the T-34, which was the most numerous one. It almost barely even had radios on them. Yes, even the Nazis were surprised to find out that the tanks they were fighting against had no radio. And that was something that was absolutely required back then. Fine if it was World War I and things like that, but still. So, now you understand my hatred towards this company, because this one is a Belarusian company and... right, fine. Rico says, info reports translated via Google Translate that on February 25th, Burkatovskiy declared in a now deleted Facebook post, I support operation of the armed forces Russian Federation, DPR and the LPR. The rest are nuances. The DPR refers to Donetsk People's Republic, while LPR denotes Luhansk People's Republic. Both are breakaway states from Ukraine that formed after the 2014 Ukrainian Revolution, technically after being supported by the Russians. Right. In a follow-up post, Burkatovskiy... Right, I can't pronounce his name. So, we are going to... Sergey noted that an unspecified Facebook post of his was removed for violating Facebook community standards. Well, comrades! Citizen... No, sorry, his voice. Comrade citizen! They snitched! There's Mark very on in that... in the chat. Right, where was I? Oh, right. Right, cause to the info reports, the Wargaming released a statement, though his cannot currently be found on their website. Twitter and Facebook dev, or Facebook dev. Why? Okay. Claims his statement came after they approached Wargaming for a statement on Sergey. Sergey is an employee of the company and expressed his personal opinion, which categorically does not coincide with the position of the company. The statement reportedly read, our forces are now focused on helping our over 550 colleagues from Kiev and their families. Remember, Wargaming was also the same company that, well, decided to contact Arch, so they could actually promote their crossover content with Warhammer in Warships, World of Warships. And guess what happened? Games Workshop contacted them and they dropped Arch in a single tiny second. They are absolutely miserable people, which is why I have very little respect for Wargaming.net. Then again, yeah, the idiots who actually acquired this goddamn filthy engine and they couldn't actually do much with it in comparison to the engine of the other Stalinium lover called War Thunder. Well, where was I? All of forces are now focused on helping over 550 colleagues from Kiev and their families. Company don't care. The veracity of both Sergey original post and Wargaming statement was later confirmed by the developer himself, who announced on Facebook that he was no longer employed by Wargaming. Broke up like VG. Those do not have pictures loaded, hombres. Ask for a comment once again. If they don't care, this time regarding Sergey breakup. Both Wargaming stated Sergey's opinions in complete contradiction with the company's position. He's no longer an employee of Wargaming. Well, this is what happens when, once again, you actually end up defending Soviet. You should actually have done your tanks balanced. You should have come to the defense of a goddamn fascism. Same as socialism. The only difference is that it's government and private companies collusion with socialism. But either way, it's so tiring. You idiots who love the socialist civil war. Anyway, I was like, as for Wargaming efforts on supporting the Ukrainian employees, YouTuber NoZoop4You reports that the company has paused most of their advertising worldwide amid the Russian-Ukraine war, asking affiliates to avoid promoting their games for an indefinite period and to halt all World of Warships ad campaigns featuring images of military equipment. Yep. let me just go forward and say it outright in this video. I support Ukraine completely, wholeheartedly, because I know the history behind Russia and their war-loving bellicose past. I know it. If you know history, you will understand why Russia is attacking Ukraine. It's nothing to do with what they said. It's our desire of the return of the old Soviet Empire. All of that. Go check out the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, and then you can also always check the documentary called The Soviet Story. It's out there. Check it out. You know, say, in fact, Wikipedia actually hated the documentary. They actually smeared it, so you know. So you know it's actually based on factual information when Wikipedia communists get all triggered. Anyway, on that goddamn fucking hell, have a great fucking night.